from the Permian Basin International Oil Show, Tallybook Troubleshooting, coming to you, bringing you the events as they're happening here at the Great Oil Show at Ector County Coliseum in Odessa, Texas. My hometown, well, adopted hometown, I guess it would be. I'm your host, Keith Stelter, trying to bring a little bit of positive energy, a little good PR for the oil industry, one story at a time. Usually Tallybook Troubleshooting is brought to you by Arc Energy. We process your energy. But today, we're part of the podcast party. Happy to be a part of it. Joining the likes of Fossil Fuel Fridays and the Crude Life. Our sponsor, the Wireline Group. As an ex-Wireline guy myself, love the fact that they're sponsoring the show. We're having a blast here. And without further ado, great guest,
Martine. Yes, Martine Pitts.
Martine Pitts,
yes,
man. I should let my guests do their own intros at this point, or I'm like just tripping over my own words.
Well, that's all right. No harm, no foul.
Sir, are you on LinkedIn? First of all,
I am on LinkedIn.
We'll be going on LinkedIn. You take all the connection requests?
I do. Yes, absolutely. I don't get that many requests, so when I see one, it's a great day. When you see that little red icon light up, I get excited.
Reach out to him. Connect. I'm sure he's going to accept now, right?
I will, absolutely. Now that you put me on the spot.
Perfect, man. Tell us a little about yourself and what you're doing right now.
Third generation oil and gas, originally out of Victoria, Texas, kind of move around where the market dictates. And today that brings us to the oil show out here at Odessa. This is my first trip to the oil show, and it's pretty exciting. Got a lot of people walking around, got to see some familiar faces and actually made some new connections and got some new deals in the pipeline. So this trip has definitely been worth the time.
What were your expectations coming into the show, being after COVID and stuff, being your first show? It's my first show as well.
Okay.
Is it as big as you thought it would be? Is it below, above? Like where are you at?
I think it's smaller than I actually thought it would be. You hear these grand gestures of this exhibit or this show out here, and there are a lot of vendors out here. I was actually blown away at how many vendors there are. But as the actual size of it, I thought the event was bigger. Just because of the attraction or the history that this event produces, you just hear great things about it.
We've had a few mixed, different opinions of it. 2018 was the last time the show was going on. And like you said, you hear this grand, how many people were here. A lot of people were disappointed with the attendance of things like OTC and stuff like that. I think, it's definitely been the biggest show since, I think the COVID hit, in my opinion.
I used to go to trade shows back in the 2010 to 2015 range. A lot of those DUGs, a lot of those big events. And when you try to do the get back off of it, it's a lot of handshaking. I don't know that you make a lot of business deals. It's more about meeting people in the industry.
Yes, sir.
Getting to meet you guys wouldn't happen if I hadn't come to the whole show.
Yes, sir. Biggest mistake I made young in my career was not getting out there networking. I was worried about, what I knew, and if I could operate this wireline tool, that tool, I should have made more effort to go out there and network.
A guy told me a long time ago, none of us are born with these skills. We develop them over time. Networking, getting out of your comfort zone, talking to people who may not do you any business or have anything for you, a benefit. Man, that person might know somebody. Getting out there, people knowing. Kind of like my friend here, Janie Snelson, the mayor of Midland. Everybody knows Janie.
Off camera, the one, the only legendary Janie Snelson is there. Yes.
She gets 3.
Yes. Trying to convince her to come on. Well, maybe we'll see what happens. Hold on. We can get on. There she is. There's her camera. We have the technology. The amazing David Gibson behind the camera, the Vidor locksmith. He has the abilities. Yes.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen. Say hi, Janie.
Hi.
Perfect.
So I'm in the service industry.
Yes,
worked for some big house groups. Been able to take some companies public, and that's exciting when you take a little independent service company and grow that to a publicly traded company.
What's your biggest highlight? What's the one you think of?
It would be a group that was formerly called LT Energy that turned into what's now called KLX.
Okay.
They're now partnered with a group called QES. And so
sir.
to kind of watch those foundations that you thought you were responsible for, maybe you were, maybe you weren't. It's exciting to kind of look back on the history of growing those brands to become national companies.
Perfect. I know the companies, wireline companies, as an ex-wireline guy.
Yes,
I'm very, very familiar with those.
Well,
companies.
I was a surface rental guy. I could sell you a trailer house or a water and sewer system, satellite communications. I had such a good rapport with my customer base for that service that we were able to easily transition into wireline or frac stacks with a customer base, and
it all starts with relationships, man.
It at the end of the day, it does. Trying to make sure that still holds true today in the market. I think pricing has a lot to do with that.
Yes, sir.
Relationships get you in the door.
Speaking of today, what's hot on your plate right now?
Hot on my plate is chasing after completion projects, going after wireline groups and frac companies. I'm currently in the market to do dissolvable frac plugs and frac stacks.
Okay.
With a company called Jet Oilfield Services. It's owned by Thomas Smith and Brandon Wilkins, former KLX guys that got back in the industry, and we've got patents on equipment. And for a year-old company, we're celebrating 18,000 plugs in the ground in the Permian and Delaware.
Congratulations!
With no failures and no shows.
That's
and,
a pretty good number.
A lot of repeat business, and so
with the increase of the oil, we're coming out of a 2020. Are you seeing the calls for more newer work as much as you'd like to see, or do you think people are waiting till 2020? It's a question I'm kind of asking.
Unfortunately, I in my line of work right now, I still feel like we're kind of having to operate in that $30 to $40 market. Companies are still trying to find that vendor that's going to be able to bring them solutions for all of their projects, not just a one-off. I'm seeing a lot of companies say that they're sold out, whether they're sold out or not. That is allowing them to start increasing pricing. I'm not the end-all be-all or the guy that knows anything about all this, but I would like to see that, say by March or February, that if we're still in this increase, that we're going to be a stable market. A stable market is going to bring more vendors to the market. So what's going to happen? We're going to see prices go back down again from a service side, unfortunately. But that is the business that we're in. So if you don't like that, go sell ice cream or something.
Yes, sir. Are you predominantly in the Permian Basin? Or are you guys all over the U.S.? Where are you guys operating?
So with Jet, for example, we're based out of Shreveport, Louisiana, and then also out of Artesia. So we're able to handle our Permian and Delaware currently out of Artesia. We're locking down a yard here in the Midland, Odessa area. We've had some opportunities or some projects come up in the Eagle Ford. A lot of work in the Haynesville. We're going where the work is, and where an operator wants us to come with. We will take that operation too.
Being nimble's the way it's got to be, right?
You have to. We are not currently in the Rockies or that Powderhorn Basin, but we have a customer that we're talking to that would like us to come up in that area, and so we will accommodate to their needs, and we'll spend that money to go up there and work with those guys.
Perfect. Any other big shout outs here while we're at the big show, or
just a shout out to all the guys that are still getting up in the morning and knocking on doors and shaking bushes. This has been a really tough time for the service industry this last 2 years.
Yes, sir.
The old saying that you can't hide from a sales guy on a location. You can only hang out up on the rig for so long. Well, in that corporate office, they can be unavailable. And COVID has really, in my opinion, allowed people to use that. I don't want to say it's an excuse, but unfortunately, a lot of those offices shut down. And if you didn't have that relationship with somebody to go to lunch or go to a happy hour, just
it's hard to make cold calls when you can't get access to them, right? So that's why, myself getting on LinkedIn, that's the reason I got here, was to make some cold calls into a little bit warmer.
And so I give a shout out to you guys. Give a shout out to JP Warren with Energy Crew. You guys have taken a tough time and you pivoted. You guys are out there allowing us to get in front of people. This is valuable to me. I don't know if I'll be able to do any good for anybody through this deal, but you're getting me some exposure right here.
Your company could take this and they can spread it around, and you just never know. Who's watching. They may not click like, they might not do the comment, but there's more people out there watching than you might expect.
Absolutely. And so it's getting out there, shaking hands, being available, and building that reputation. As soon as I walk out of here, you're probably going to have 10 more guys come in behind me. Did I make an impression on you to be like, hey, I enjoy talking to Martine? That's what we get out and do every day, is make sure people remember us. And
it's about relationship. Janie says you're awesome. That's my opinion of you. She says, I have such a high opinion of her, so then it spreads, right?
Then we'll close out with a big shout out to Janie Snelson.
Janie Snelson is the best there.
Keith, thank you so much. You guys bringing me in. I appreciate y'all's time. It was really nice to meet you guys. And again, a big fan of what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
And you have that exposure because we see y'all out there doing it.
And any friend of JP Warren's is a friend of mine, man.
Big
shout out again, JP. Love you, man. Wish you were here. Missing you. The podcast party, bringing you all the live events as much as we can. brought to you by the Wireline Group, and that's how you troubleshoot.
And again, if you guys need any dissolvable plugs or frac stacks, don't be afraid to reach out and give me a shout. We'll make you a hell of